Fraser was absolutely everywhere in the 90s and early 00s. He starred in beloved kids' classics like George of the Jungle and hit blockbusters such as The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. And let's not forget Oscar-winning fare like Gods and Monsters. His movies made millions. For a while. Unfortunately, after that, he did just about the worst thing a person in Hollywood can do. He got older and stopped being hot. So what does he look like now? And can we expect a comeback anytime soon? The world of movies is a fickle place, but surely it can't be that fickle, right? Breaking into Hollywood. As a fresh-faced young actor, Fraser had a couple of tiny TV roles before making it in the movies. His first film was the 1992 comedy Encino Man, but it was the sports movie School Ties that same year that really marked him out as a talent. Acting opposite future stars Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, he played a Jewish high school student facing anti-Semitism from his peers, becoming a sex symbol. But it was 1997's George of the Jungle that established Fraser as not just a good actor, but as a sex symbol too. It's safe to say that the buff physique he showcased while playing the Tarzan like George set many hearts aflutter back in the 90s. And the movie was a financial success to boot, reaping $174.4 million at the worldwide box office, getting physique Cal. Fraser showed off his fit physique once again in 1998's Gods and Monsters, a film based on the life of Bride of Frankenstein director James Whale and one which won an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. This accolade could very well have furthered both Fraser's career and his prospects as a serious actor as a consequence, but things weren't quite as smooth sailing as the years went by. Catapulted to stardom, but only briefly. Despite potentially wanting to branch out into grittier films, it soon became clear that film audiences had other plans. They wanted to keep seeing Fraser strutting his stuff in comedy and action roles. And luckily for him, his performance as the ultra-charming Rico Onell in 1999's The Mummy finally made him a bona fide superstar, albeit only for a rather short time. The superstar phase. And while Fraser's superstar phase lasted, things were great. Although his 2000 film remake of Bedazzled received only lukewarm reviews, it was a box office success nonetheless. What's more, the Chicago Tribune described his performance in the movie as funny, charming, and sympathetic. The very qualities that had gotten Fraser so far so good, mixed reviews. As the early nufties rolled around, Fraser appeared in virtually anything that came his way. He even took to London's West End in 2001 to star in the play Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, winning good reviews for his performance. That year also saw the release of The Mummy Returns, another huge financial hit, and Monkey Bone, which, unfortunately, was the exact opposite. Was this the beginning of the end for Fraser, or just a blip? A sudden death. Well, the following year, Fraser appeared in the hit series Scrubs, playing Ben Sullivan, the best friend to series regular Dr. Cox, and though his role was only a guest one, it turned out to be among one of the most important in the entire show. In fact, it led to a much-praised and Emmy-nominated episode in 2004, when his character suddenly died. Luckily then, his on-screen death didn't translate into a career fatality too. Not yet, anyway. Box office flop. As the Scrubs success faded, it was perhaps starting to dawn on people that Fraser didn't always pick the best projects to showcase his abilities. In 2003, for one, he appeared in the cartoon caper Looney Tunes Back in Action, another total box office flop. Fraser needed to start attaching himself to less goofy stuff. Concerns from the start. Luckily, an extremely respectable project was right around the corner right in time to pull Fraser towards firmer ground. And that project was Crash, a serious drama about the effect of racism on the lives of a large group of people. Fraser played District Attorney Rick, despite initial concerns from both the director and himself that he was too young for the part. Good, but not good enough. Crash was an enormous success, picking up Best Picture at the 78th Academy Awards and a whole host of other accolades. And although appearing in a Best Picture flick was a boost for Fraser's career, it wasn't quite enough. His next film, The Indie Journey to the End of the Night, barely made an impact on moviegoers' radars. For all his efforts, Fraser was fading into the background, and it seemed there wasn't much he could do about it. From bad to worse. And unfortunately, things slid further downhill from there, as his 2007 film The Air I Breathe was trashed by critics. And in December of the same year, it was announced that he and his wife Afton Smith would be divorcing. Still, in 2009, an Entertainment Weekly interviewer described him as being the nicest guy in Hollywood, even after his personal and professional woes had come to light. But everyone knows what happens to nice guys in Hollywood. It's tough being the nice guy. Fraser did have a hit in 2008 with Journey to the Center of the Earth, and a sequel to that movie seemed a certainty. But when Fraser wanted to wait for the original director, Eric Brevig, to free up time to helm a sequel, the studio simply replaced them both. That's what happens to nice guys in Hollywood. And sadly, Fraser's run of bad luck was only getting started. Failure. After that came Inkheart, a children's film based on the similarly named novel. Fraser himself had inspired the main character of the book, so he was a shoo-in for the lead. But although everyone involved in the project seemed to have come to it with goodwill, it was yet another critical flop for the floundering star. Time is out to get you. By this point, Fraser was facing another crisis, and one much worse than critics not liking his movies. He was aging. His boyish good looks were fading, and his hairline was receding. And while this might not have been a problem for some actors, Fraser had built a lot of his career on being, well, boyish. He had to transition to more mature roles and fast. Taken to court. But it just wasn't happening. All that was happening was failure after failure. Extraordinary Measures, followed by the kids' film Furry Vengeance, nearly finished the once box office gold off for good. And to make things worse, in 2011 he sued producer Todd Moyer for unpaid wages and was promptly sued in return. And court proceedings, as we've all learned from court show dramas, are a seriously costly process. Costs which, unfortunately, were only adding to his financial worries. Financial woes. In fact, money worries were starting to be a big concern for Fraser. In another act of niceness, he donated his salary from the 2013 film Gimme Shelter to the actual homeless shelters featured in the movie. That same year, however, he had to ask a court to cut the alimony and child support installments he'd been paying to his former wife. He simply couldn't afford it anymore, what with all of his career troubles. Box office poison. All was definitely not going well for Fraser, despite the fact that he'd done nothing to deserve it. There was never a Mel Gibson or Charlie Sheen-style meltdown, and he hadn't taken up politics or really done anything controversial at all. Yet somehow he seemed to have become utter box office poison. Fraser needed a win and fast, clawing his way back. Luckily, a hit came along in 2015 when he appeared in the high-profile History Channel miniseries Texas Rising. Making a comeback never looked better. Sporting a pigtail wig and playing an Alamo survivor alongside stars like Ray Liotta and Chad Michael Murray may just have been the tonic he needed to get back on the acting horse. Oscar comes calling. Fast forward to 2019, and things were starting to look up. Fraser began going to fan conventions in an attempt to get over himself and start putting himself out there. He also began getting much more visible and enjoyable roles, including in the TV show Doom Patrol and the movie No Sudden Move. And then came The Whale. An explosive comeback. There's no doubt that Fraser's looks have changed since his chiseled chest days of swinging from the treetops, but his acting career proved that it isn't anywhere near over yet. After all, nice guys don't necessarily always have to finish last. And one role that year would push both his acting and transformation skills to the absolute limit, piling on the pounds. When fans saw Fraser's heart-wrenching portrayal of Charlie in the psychological drama The Whale, visions of the 90s heartthrob were a far cry from what they saw on their screens now. But how did Fraser transform into the middle-aged man whose crippling guilt led to him binge-eat his way to an extra 600 pounds? The answer: prosthetics, and a lot of them. An incredible feat that bagged the film a nomination in the Best Makeup and Hairstyling category at the Academy Awards. The film had a profound effect on Fraser too. A whale of a time. "I don't know if this is going to give me some big redemption in my own life," Fraser said. "I know that I'm proud of the work that I did, and it's enough. It'll live on long after me. And that's good. The other stuff, maybe not so much. That'll live on too. But I think I just have to live for what's happening for me now." And things started happening very quickly. The awards circuit. For his performance in the film, Fraser was nominated for a BAFTA and a Golden Globe and went on to win a Screen Actors Guild Award, a Critics' Choice Award, and of course an Oscar. It completed a career comeback that is remarkable, a Hollywood story in itself. And Fraser commented on that during his Oscars acceptance speech. The speech. "I started in this business 30 years ago," Fraser said as he received his Academy Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role. "And things, they didn't come easily to me, but there was a facility that I didn't appreciate at the time. Until it stopped." He was clearly overwhelmed by the recognition, but he found time to honor his loved ones. Coming up for air. "It's been like I've been on a diving expedition to the bottom of the ocean," he said, "and the air on the line has come from some people in my life, like my sons Holden and Leland and Griffin." He also thanked his fellow nominees for how they laid their whale-sized hearts bare so that we can see into your souls like no one else could do. Brendan Fraser completes his comeback. Everyone had been rooting for Brendan Fraser after learning just how difficult life had been for him when he was a star in the 90s, and all that faith paid off. Upon winning Best Actor for his performance in The Whale, Fraser cried openly on stage while thanking everybody and then said backstage, "I hope that I live up to this. Fraser's tears and well-deserved win were only the tip of the iceberg when it came to the much-awaited 2023 Oscars ceremony, though. Champagne carpet. There was no slapping this year, probably for the best, but there was a lot of excitement and definitely some moments that will go down in Academy Awards history. There was a donkey, a bear, some amazing dresses, and some very awkward moments. In fact, there was basically everything everywhere all at once. Take the carpet, for example. For the first time in Oscars history, the color of the carpet was changed. Instead of it being red, stars walked down a champagne-colored one. Jimmy Kimmel unveiled it to the press on the Wednesday before the ceremony and referenced the infamous Will Smith slap when he joked, "I think the decision to go with a champagne carpet over a red carpet shows how confident we are that no blood will be shed." Stephanie Hsu gets very excited. No one was more excited about Everything Everywhere All at Once's success than Stephanie Hsu, who herself was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. While she ultimately lost out to co-star Jamie Lee Curtis, she kept smiling all night. One person tweeted, "If you're not trying to give me that Stephanie Hsu energy when I get my wins, then I don't want it." Janelle Monáe stands out. Janelle Monáe never puts a foot wrong on the red carpet or champagne carpet in this case. At the 2023 Oscars ceremony, she wore bright colors that popped out against the light ones, and it was an excellent choice. She was photobombed by her Glass Onion co-star Kate Hudson while posing for the cameras, and still looked like a goddess in the shot. Lady Gaga loses her makeup. Lady Gaga underwent a big transformation at the 2023 Oscars. First, she worked the press pack in the sort of glamour we've come to expect from her, a spectacular black Versace dress, shining Tiffany Co. jewelry, and bright red lipstick. But when she took the stage to perform Hold My Hand, she was in jeans, t-shirt, and no makeup at all. Andrea Riseborough partied away the controversy. When Andrea Riseborough was nominated for her movie To Leslie, it caused a minor scandal. Her team had skipped the usual for your consideration rounds and instead encouraged other celebrities to hype up Riseborough's performance on social media. In the end, the Academy ended up reviewing her nomination to make sure no rules had been broken. But despite all that, Riseborough partied with her fellow celebrities and had a good time. Dodgy donkey dealings. The audience were delighted when Jenny the Donkey, the real star of the Banshees of Inisherin, was brought on stage. Colin Farrell looked like he was in love. But big spoiler alert, that wasn't Jenny. It was an imposter. Jenny is currently living her best life in a donkey sanctuary, and now Kimmel looks like, "We're sorry for this joke," and ass. Michelle Yeoh is the big winner. Michelle Yeoh is indisputably the queen of this awards season. Her performance as Evelyn in Everything Everywhere All at Once won her a Golden Globe, a Screen Actors Guild Award, and finally that much coveted Best Actress Oscar. Believe it or not, she's the first Asian to win it, and even more eyebrow-raisingly, only the second woman of color overall. Angela Bassett is a queen in purple. Angela Bassett, nominated for Best Supporting Actress for her role as Queen Ramonda in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, arrived wearing regal purple. The dress was by Moschino, the necklace was by Bulgari. She looked stunning. Her stylist Jennifer Austin spoke for everyone when she wrote on Instagram, "Here comes the Queen Mother," in the color of royalty. Pedro Pascal had the best night ever. Pedro Pascal is the internet's boyfriend now, so his surprise appearance at the Oscars alongside his award-nominated sister was greeted with squeals of delight across the world. He may not have been nominated for any Academy Awards himself, but arguably it was his night, seeing as how the season finale of smash hit TV drama The Last of Us was airing at the same time as the Oscars. One winner gets a sing-along. It was a tremendous night for James Martin, the star of Best Live-Action Short winner in Irish Goodbye. When the cast and crew were on stage, the short's producer Tom Berkeley announced, "This award is actually the second most important thing about today, because it's this man's birthday. He's out here in Hollywood, wearing a leopard print suit jacket. We'd love to use the rest of our time up here to sing to James," and the whole auditorium did. It was magical. Halle Berry shows everyone how it's done. Halle Berry posted pics of her makeup process on Instagram, alongside the caption, "Living for this at Charlotte Tilbury Glam for Oscars '95. It was makeup artist Jorge Monroy who put the look together, and he told news website The Independent, "We wanted the eyes to be the focal point with a harsh crease, but added some fun with a sparkling eyelid." The rest of the face came together seamlessly with bronze, dewy skin, berry blush, and a nude lip. James Hong attends his first Oscars. Veteran actor James Hong attended his first Oscars ceremony at the grand old age of 94. He told reporters, "It shows if you wait long enough, you'll make it. I'm very happy my mother fed me those bitter herbs. It carried me to 94, and 1 month I've got to count it by month now. This movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, gave me the chance to be here today." And he wore a bow tie with googly eyes on it as a tribute to the movie. 4 weddings and a moisturizer. There was an unexpected 4 weddings and a funeral reunion. Hugh Grant and Andie MacDowell traded jokes, and Grant took the opportunity for some humorous self-deprecation. He said, "We're actually here to do 2 things. The first is to raise awareness about the vital importance of using a good moisturizer. Andie has been wearing one every day for the last 29 years, while I have never used one in my life." He then compared his face to an unmentionable, wrinkly part of male anatomy. Jessica Chastain sparkles. Jessica Chastain won Best Actress in 2022 and was back to party the following year. She opted for Charlotte Tilbury makeup, and it was applied by makeup artist Christopher Buckle. The bright red perfectly complemented her shimmering gown. Buckle proudly told The Independent later that Chastain's makeup was inspired by classic sirens of cinema's golden era and celebrated the actress' ability to channel a woman's power of seduction. Rihanna's unborn baby is already a star. In May 2022, Rihanna told Vogue magazine, "When I found out I was pregnant, I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to go shopping in no maternity aisle. I'm sorry, it's too much fun to get dressed up." And she stuck by that principle. When carrying her second child, she wore a sheer black dress that showed off the baby bump. Jamie Lee Curtis did not approve of the carpet. Jamie Lee Curtis made the slight fashion faux pas of wearing a champagne dress on a champagne-colored carpet. She lamented on Twitter, apparently, "Their carpet is going to match my drapes," and posted an emoji of herself face-palming. The BBC described her as the first fashion victim of the carpet, but the Best Supporting Actress winner took it all in stride. Ruth E. Carter breaks boundaries. Costume designer Ruth E. Carter made history at the 2023 Oscars by becoming the first black woman to win 2 Academy Awards. She won for Black Panther in 2019 and 4 years later took the prize for its sequel. She said to reporters on the night, "I studied, I scraped, I dealt with adversity in the industry that sometimes didn't look like me. I endured." A bear was there. The 2023 Academy Awards were rather animal-heavy. When director-actress Elizabeth Banks got on stage to present the Best Visual Effects Oscar, she announced, "I recently directed the film Cocaine Bear. And without visual effects, this is what the bear would look like." Yep, it was a man in a bear suit. Was it funny or cringeworthy? You be the judge. Blue ribbons. If you were watching the Oscars carefully, you might have noticed many of the stars were wearing little blue ribbons on their outfits. They were doing so in order to show solidarity with Ukrainian refugees. All quiet on the Western Front writer Leslie Patterson told newspaper USA Today the Friday before the Oscars, "Obviously our film is anti-war in sentiment, so we're very closely connected with what's going on. One film wins everything, everywhere, all at once. There was one film that stood above all others at the Academy Awards Everything Everywhere All at Once. It took home a whopping 7 Oscars in total, including Best Picture, Best Actress for Michelle Yeoh, Best Supporting Actor for Ki Hai Kwan, and Best Supporting Actress for Jamie Lee Curtis. It's the first time for almost half a century that one film has scooped 3 of the main acting awards. Cara Delevingne upstages the red carpet. No red carpet? Then wear one. That's what Cara Delevingne did anyway, and she looked great. It was an Elie Saab dress that showed off all her best features, and it even had pockets, great for storing away free Oscars goodies. It was Delevingne's first public appearance since she'd revealed she'd been to rehab. It seemed to mark a whole new lease of life for her. Diane Warren breaks her own record. Poor Diane Warren holds an Oscars record she'd probably rather not have. The songwriter has been nominated for a Best Original Song Academy Award 14 times and lost 14 times. She joked on Twitter, referencing the Sunday clock change, "I lost an hour and an Oscar the same day." But she did look absolutely fantastic walking the champagne carpet with Sophia Carson. An emotional reunion. Ki Hai Kwan was a child star before he was an Oscar winner, and one of his biggest roles was opposite Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And at the Oscars ceremony, it was none other than Ford who presented him with the award. The audience were in bits. One person tweeted, "Low-key crying over the full circle moment of Harrison Ford giving an Oscar to Ki Hai Kwan." Jamie Lee Curtis becomes a controversial winner. Jamie Lee Curtis won her first Oscar in 2023 Best Supporting Actress for Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was a great moment for her, but it sparked a bit of controversy across the internet. Many people pointed out that she didn't have much screen time compared to her co-star Stephanie Hsu, while plenty also noticed Angela Bassett's look of disappointment when she was snubbed for the same award. Lady Gaga saves a photographer.